Good afternoon. I want to thank the ACR for hosting us today and for their crucial work. I also would like to thank the Washington Post, particularly the reporter Carolyn Johnson, who helped get our story out earlier this summer, that I think also helped advance my treatment. As said earlier and introduced, my name is Richard Schlueter. I am identified as Michelle's husband, a father of three, and I am an attorney from Atlanta, Georgia. I'm currently undergoing treatment for stage 4 head and neck cancer, and I'd like to have a few comments in regards to policy that I think is important and crucial to talk about in this forum. Earlier this year, the administration's budget and staffing cuts at the National Institute of Health, or NIH, delayed and nearly derailed my cancer treatment. I was diagnosed in February of 2024, and my wife Michelle and I quickly began searching for clinical trials. The only hope, as I learned, to extend my life or potentially save my life. After several failed trials, I was finally accepted into an NIH trial in December of 2024 for tumor infiltrating lymphocyte, or TIL therapy, as it's called, through Dr. Rosenberg's lab at NIH. For the first time in months, I felt a glimmer of hope. It was an answer to months of prayers, and we had hope. The NIH told me they would need 3 weeks to prepare my TIL cells if and when it became clear that my current treatment was failing, as I was currently under other treatment and was utilizing this as my treatment that could potentially cure me. The moment came in late May. I went from jogging 3 miles a day and playing regular golf with my son to breaking my collarbone that had developed cancer with over a 3-week period from a clear scan, and struggling to walk. The cancer had spread to my bones, and I knew at that time it was my time to turn to Bethesda, and I called NIH. But instead, I had learned that the 3 weeks had turned into an indefinite stay. I was told that the earliest I could get in was August. The NIH care team said the soonest that they could eventually get me in was August 1st. What I came to learn was the administration, through budget cuts, had mandated termination of certain employees that were deemed probationary employees that worked in the cell lab. I had to figure out what to do in that interim. I had to have a bridge therapy, and I had no choice but to undergo extensive radiation. That radiation, while necessary during this delay, contributed to the stunning of my bone marrow and caused unavoidable harm, leaving me with dangerous blood counts that disqualified me potentially for future clinical trials and the very trial that I was trying to get on at NIH. If I had been treated in the normal timeline, none of this would have happened. All the while, the administration publicly justified the cuts to the federal workforce as eliminating waste, fraud, and abuse from federal agencies. The staff who make NIH clinical trials and research possible are not waste, fraud, and abuse. I was devastated and I was furious. And thanks to the ingenuity of NIH clinical staff working closely with my oncologist in Georgia, I was able to secure an FDA exemption, though disqualified, for a single use exemption, and was able to complete my infusion after a 3-week stay at the clinical center here in August. But the fallout from this initial delay has lingered. I've had to undergo multiple blood transfusions, including 2 just last week. These weakened counts not only complicate my recovery now, but could delay or even disqualify me from standard of care treatment and other clinical trials if this does not succeed. So I'm here to advocate for NIH funding, because without it, I wouldn't be standing here today. The brilliant, compassionate staff at the NIH have dedicated their lives to curing diseases once thought incurable. To now see a proposed 40% budget cut to the very institution that's working to give my life back is devastating, not just for patients, but for research itself. Every patient teaches the NIH something new. Every pause or setback delays life-saving progress and scientific breakthroughs. In my case, if delayed, the trial was my only hope. Congress must act. The legislative branch is uniquely positioned to oppose the cuts and robustly fund the intramural and extramural NIH research through the 2026 NIH authorization bill. For cancer patients like me, and for the countless others who depend on future treatments, this is a matter of life and death. With that, I'll turn the floor over to my beautiful wife, Michelle.
Hi, I'm Michelle. I'm the proud wife of Richard and mother to three beautiful children, Austin, Julia, and Michael. When Richard was diagnosed with cancer, our family was devastated and our prayers became simple. We wanted time. Enough time that Richard would see our youngest graduate college and watch our children get married. The clinical trial at NIH gave us the best chance at that future. While at NIH, we came to understand why so many call it the National Institute of Hope. From the physician that snuck Richard his favorite potato chips when he couldn't eat, to the nurses who stood vigil over him day and night. Every act of compassion reminded us this place was more than a research facility. It was a total blessing. We clearly lost that hope when Richard's treatment was delayed. Patients fighting for their lives should not also have to fight political battles over budgets. We had to. We called on our members of Congress to inquire about Richard's case, and the administration responded with claims that no trials had been delayed. This claim did not match our reality. While Richard did make the till, we are heartbroken that others did not, and the delay caused him permanent damage. All of this happened because 2 probationary lab technicians were fired, just 2 people. If the loss of 2 technicians can cause such chaos, imagine the devastation a 40% budget would do. This is why we are here in Washington this week, to send a message to policymakers. Behind every clinical trial are families fighting for more time and researchers working tirelessly to give it to them. We urge Congress to pass an appropriate bill that strengthens, not slashes, the NIH's funding for cancer and chronic disease research. To adequately equip NIH is not only to give families like mine hope, but to preserve America's place as a leader in the global fight against cancer. Thank you.